Have you ever felt like you're constantly busy, running from one thing to the next, but at the end of the day, you wonder what you've actually accomplished? It's a common feeling, this sense of being overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks, notifications, and obligations pulling us in a million different directions. It often feels like we're just trying to keep our heads above water, reacting to whatever comes our way instead of actively shaping our own lives. If that sounds familiar, I want to share a story with you. It's a simple story, one you might have even heard before, but its message is more relevant today than ever. It's a story that completely changed my perspective on how I spend my time and energy, and I hope it does the same for you. Picture this: a philosophy professor stands in front of his class. The students are settled in, ready for another lecture. But instead of pulling out his notes, the professor places a large, empty glass jar on the table in front of him. Without saying a word, he reaches down and pulls out several large rocks about the size of your fist. He carefully places them into the jar, one by one, until no more can fit. He then turns to his students and asks, "Is this jar full?" The students look at the jar, see the big rocks packed up to the brim, and unanimously agree, "Yes, it's full." The professor just smiles. He reaches under the table again and pulls out a container of small pebbles. He begins to pour the pebbles into the jar. They cascade down, filling the gaps between the large rocks. He gives the jar a little shake, and the pebbles settle into all the empty spaces. He looks up at his class again and asks, "Is the jar full now?" The students, catching on, are a bit more hesitant this time. A few of them nod, but most are unsure. One brave student says, "Probably not." "Exactly," the professor replies. He then pulls out a bucket of sand. He pours the sand into the jar. The fine grains of sand fill all the remaining tiny spaces between the rocks and the pebbles. He shakes the jar again, and the sand filters down, seemingly disappearing into the container. Now he asks one more time, "Is the jar full now?" This time, the students answer with a confident, "Yes." The professor nods. "Yes, it is." But then he asks the most important question of all. "What is the point of this demonstration? What's the lesson here?" One eager student raises their hand and says, "It shows that no matter how full your schedule is, if you really try, you can always fit more things in." "That's one way to look at it," the professor says kindly. "But that's not the main point. The real lesson is this: if you don't put the big rocks in first, you'll never get them in at all. Think about it. If he had started with the sand, pouring it all into the jar first, there would have been no room for the pebbles, and certainly no room for the big rocks. The jar would have been full of just sand, the small stuff. This jar, he explained, represents your life. And the things we fill it with are how we spend our time and energy. The big rocks are the truly important things, the things that give your life meaning and purpose. These are your family, your partner, your children, your health, your passions, your dreams. These are the things that, if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full and meaningful. They are the foundation of a happy life. The pebbles are the other things that matter but are less critical. These could be your job, your house, your car, your friendships, your hobbies. They are important, they add value and texture to your life, but they aren't the absolute core of your existence. You can have a fulfilling life without a specific job or a particular house, but a life without love or health feels empty. And the sand is everything else. It's the small stuff. It's scrolling through social media, checking emails constantly, running errands, watching random shows, worrying about things you can't control. It's all the little tasks and distractions that fill our days. They seem harmless, but they can quickly take over if we let them. The problem is, so many of us fill our lives with sand first. We wake up and immediately grab our phones. We spend our days reacting to notifications, putting out small fires, and getting lost in trivial tasks. By the time we look up, the day is gone. Our jar is full of sand and we feel exhausted. There's no time or energy left for the big rocks. We tell ourselves we'll spend more time with family this weekend. We'll start that project we're passionate about next month. We'll focus on our health next year. We postpone our big rocks. But as the demonstration shows, if you fill your jar with sand first, the big rocks will never fit. You can't just cram your health, your relationships, and your dreams into the leftover cracks of a life already overflowing with trivialities. It just doesn't work. The lesson is to be intentional. You must identify your big rocks first and make them your priority. Put them in the jar before anything else. So, I want you to ask yourself, what are the big rocks in your life? Take a moment, really think about it. Is it your relationship with your partner or your kids? Is it your physical and mental health? Is it that creative project you've been dreaming of for years? Is it your spiritual growth or your desire to make a difference in the world? Identify them. Write them down if you need to. These are non-negotiable. Once you know what your big rocks are, you have to schedule them into your life first. Block out time for them on your calendar just like you would for an important meeting. Make a date with your partner. Schedule your workouts. Dedicate a few hours each week to that passion project. Protect that time fiercely. This is the time for your big rocks, and you place them in your jar for the week. After your big rocks are in place, you'll see there's still plenty of room. Now you can fit in the pebbles, your work responsibilities, your household chores, your social gatherings. These things will naturally find their place around the big rocks. And what about the sand? The amazing thing is, the sand will fill in the gaps on its own. The small, everyday tasks will still get done, but they won't be the main event. They'll be the filler, not the substance. This isn't about eliminating the sand and pebbles entirely. Life is made up of all three. A life with only big rocks might lack the everyday texture that makes it interesting. The point is about priority. It's about being the architect of your life, not just a passive resident. It's about consciously deciding what deserves the most space in your jar. When you start living this way, something incredible happens. You stop feeling so overwhelmed. You start feeling a sense of control and purpose. You end your days feeling tired, maybe, but a good kind of tired, the satisfaction of knowing you've invested your energy in what truly matters. You're no longer just busy. You're productive in the truest sense of the word. You're building a life that reflects your deepest values. So, take a look at your jar right now. What is it filled with? Is it mostly sand? Are you letting the trivialities of daily life crowd out your passions and your loved ones? If so, it's never too late to empty the jar and start over. Dump out the sand, take a deep breath. And this time, start by putting the big rocks in first. Identify what truly matters to you and give it the space it deserves. Your time is the most precious resource you have. Don't let it be filled with sand. Fill it with what makes your life truly full. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this little story gives you something to think about. If it resonated with you, let me know in the comments what your big rocks are. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. Until next time, take care and prioritize wisely.